Witness a land in continual change. For millions of years, volcanic deposits covered and built up this land. Erosion has since carved out these deposits, resulting in the Painted Hills. In the high desert of Central Oregon is a geological wonderland called John Day National Monument. The monument includes 3 units: the Painted Hills Unit, Clarno Unit, and Sheep Rock Unit. This video will explore the more popular unit, the Painted Hills. As you arrive, the colorful red and yellow hills begin to show up. Within the Painted Hills unit are 5 different points of interest. They are about a mile or less of walking each, so they can all be viewed within a day. It is important to mention that you should always stay on the trails here. Walking on the hills causes erosion and decay to occur quicker, and future generations won't be able to enjoy this landmark. Natural erosion gives the hills their unique painted colors, but that happens over millions of years. Our first stop is Carroll Rim Trail, which is the longest of all the short trails here. While this is not one of the colorful hills, it has the highest viewpoint of the area. The yellow and red colors come from different environments over time. The reds indicate a warm and wet period like a swamp or jungle. The yellows point to a cooler and drier time, dominated by hardwood forests. Being such a photogenic landmark, there are many opportunities for nice pictures. Carroll Rim was formed by one of the many volcanic eruptions that covered the Painted Hills. The rock layer atop Carroll Rim is not the usual basalt, but it is an ignimbrite or welded tuff. At the top of Carroll Rim is a 360-degree viewpoint of the entire area. From here, you can see the other 4 stops that we will visit next. Painted Hills Overlook, Painted Cove, Leaf Hill, and Red Scar Knoll. The hills are red because they are slowly rusting or oxidizing. Millions of years ago, iron-rich volcanic ash covered the landscape. Over time, oxidizing irons stained the soil red. Being the highest viewpoint in the area, Carroll Rim is worth the hike up. Many who visit Painted Hills won't see this viewpoint because of the steep trail. My advice for visiting Painted Hills is to keep moving so you can see it all. A place where you can get really close up with this interesting landscape is the Painted Cove Trail. This smaller, colorful hill has an accessible boardwalk that all can enjoy. The boardwalk was created so we could have something to walk on while protecting the landscape. Different minerals provide the photogenic variety of reds, yellows, and oranges. The blend of iron and magnesium oxides break down or rust to form these colors. This might be the most popular spot for photographers because of the contrast between the boardwalk and the bright red ground. The arid environment is very similar to a harsh red Martian landscape. On Mars, red paleosoils similar to this indicate a once hot and wet climate. The lavender gray layer is weathered remains of a lava flow known as the Clarno Formation. These interesting landscapes are still being transformed by erosion through wind and water. The clay slopes dry and crack from being cooked by the sun. The hills stay mostly plant-free as seeds wash down to the bottom of the slopes. Moisture and plants end up in the drainage of the hills. Though it is a short hike, the Painted Cove Trail is compact with photogenic beauty and natural history. The next stop is not quite as picturesque, but shows some interesting history of the area. The Leaf Fossil Trail shows us what kind of plant life was out here during the changing climates. Some fossils here come from the hot and wet jungle environment, while others come from the drier hardwood forest environment. While fossils are very rare to even see here, it is important to note that they should not be taken. The point of natural lands is so that we can appreciate them as they are naturally. Some of the rocks might seem like fossils, but there is a display that shows what the real fossils look like. From this single hill, there are deposits of an oak sycamore forest, then a series of savanna woodlands, 2 swamps, and 3 lakes. There is also a hardwood forest, which was incinerated by hot ashfall during an eruption. Dating from many millions of years ago at this site are fossils of dawn redwood leaves. This rare tree was once thought extinct until being found in China. Mostly because this tree is deciduous, the leaves would drop each fall season and fossilize at the bottom of lake beds. Known as the Meta sequoia, this fossil is now Oregon's state fossil. The fossils of Leaf Hill show us that there has been a wide variety of plant life at the Painted Hills over the years. The next stop is the newest addition to Painted Hills. This trail is known as the Red Scar Knoll Trail, or the Red Hill Trail. This trail brings you right up close to a lone painted hill. This area is unique because it contains exposures of the lowest part of the John Dave Formation. Though it is named Red Hill, it has both of the more common colors of the Painted Hills. As we learned earlier, the red colors indicate a time of warm and wet paleo environment. Ponds and lakes would be abundant during this time, and rainfall would be very high. The yellow and tan paleo soils indicate a cooler and drier environment. There was also a more dense forest that slowly transitioned into what we have today. Bodies of water dried up, and as the trees spaced out, shrubs filled in the open areas. Red Scar Knoll is a nice spot to get an up-close look at one of the colorful hills. Our last stop is the most visited spot, Painted Hills Overlook. Because this was shot in winter, it was not nearly as crowded as during the warm summer months. The Overlook has the closest view of the most dramatic Painted Hills landscape. A short trail goes to a couple different viewpoints. While you see various trees and plants on the ground, there are almost none on the colored hills. The clay surface retains water so well that most plants are not able to draw the water from the ground. The clay is also so dense, making it difficult for plants to take root. While mostly red and yellow, there are some black spots in the hills as well. This indicates a concentration of manganese left by past plants or changes in climates. All 5 points of interest provide unique information on how this land became the Painted Hills. A full day is just enough time to explore all parts of the Painted Hills unit. The other 2 units, Clarno and Sheep Rock, are worth a visit for another day. Something tells me we might see those on videos in the future. The Painted Hills are a great place to learn about the forces of nature that shaped the land over millions of years. I hope you enjoyed exploring and learning about this place with me. Another thing to keep in mind is the weather and time of year affects how this place looks. While we are here on a darker winter day, it is definitely worth seeing during bright and sunny weather.